This episode of WoW Weekly is brought to you by WoWweekly.net, your source for Warcraft and Blizzard news, guides, and editorials.
This week in Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor Friends of Family Alpha has finally been announced. The profession combat perks are being removed, so it doesn't matter anymore which professions you choose as a raider, and the cutting of abilities has started for everyone, so please don't remove this tracking shot because it makes me depend on my clunky pet kiting. I'm Mezzy and welcome to WoW Weekly, episode number 29. This week I'm joined by LJ. How are you, LJ?
I'm quite fine. And yourself?
I'm excited. Alpha's finally announced.
It took them long enough.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also joining us is Matt. Welcome back, Matt.
Yeah, I was not here last week. I was
so welcome back.
In the realm of realness. It was shocking, I know.
What is real life?
I know. What is it, man? What is it?
Exactly. So, finally, the Alpha has been announced. It is just friends and family, and even they don't have invites yet. But it's all just starting. The patch information and stuff like that was put on the servers today, and they've been data mined. So let's get right into it. Yeah, let's just start off with the profession combat perks. They're being removed. Just no bonuses for combat whatsoever. How great is that? I'm thrilled about this change. LJ, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think I like it. It's okay, to be honest. I think it's not too bad. It puts less stress on the combat, on the professions. But I think it was. I also I'm not too enthusiastic about it because, like my paladin, I have jewel crafting and blacksmithing.
Yeah.
For the extra sockets and the extra gems. So I mean, that's also gonna get removed then, right? If I'm just saying this correctly now, like those things, but also like you with your tailoring, those buffs will be removed.
So the attack power, the extra sockets, the ring enchants, all those things, the gems for jewel crafters, those things are being removed.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know that I get with like they're also removing sockets or less, have less of them and stuff like that. So I get that they want to, make that better for everyone and make it equal. It's just I think it's well, as somebody who does professions a lot. I mean, it's nice to have some bonuses when you do it. So I wonder if there's going to be something that replaces them and makes you want to do a certain profession more than the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's. I'm lukewarm against it. Put it like that.
Okay. Well, I can give myself as an example. I have tailoring as a hunter. Now that's frowned upon by most of the raiding community, but I did that back in Classic to make bags for myself, and still every expansion making new bags, getting more space in my inventory because inventory has always been a problem. So now, after Warlords of Draenor launches, people can't look down on me anymore because who cares? No combat bonuses anyway. I'm very happy with this.
Yeah,
because you're a noob, man. You're a noob.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's definitely true. Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt, what are your thoughts?
A bit. It's overall, it's good. It does not shoehorn people into having certain setups. What I would possibly like to do with this, with this change, is them offer some kind of like auto re-roll on people's skills, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have the skills they want. They have the skills they need on progression. Now, you say LJ has 2 there for stuff for him. I have been Druid, I've been Skinner, Leatherworker since vanilla. Partly down to pure laziness, and partly down to the fact that, to be fair, of everything, it was never worth the bonuses I received from that. It was never really worth going to anything else. I could have done, fair enough, but I didn't. And that was my personal choice. But with the whole way it was done, if I was really being super duper efficient, I'm pretty sure there could have been a couple I could have re-rolled to. I'd have had to have farm maps on one character, swap them to the other, and put all these hours in. And there's going to be a lot of people that have put a lot of hours into getting their perfect raiding setup, and now it's being wiped out. Yes, it's a good thing, but I would hope that they'd have some kind of what's the word? Is it reconciliation or something like that? I can't remember the exact word that's needed. But I'd like them to actually have something to almost say, yeah, cheers, we're giving you this back. This is your chance to re-roll, your chance to get it, because we've made this decision.
I understand where you're coming from. However, I don't completely agree, because it's new expansion. Lots of things can always change during expansion, including stuff like this. It is a soft reset button. And with what else we're going to get into, a bit hard reset button. So much is being changed, removed, and stuff like that. So it's changing the entire landscape of how the game might be played. So, yeah, people put enormous amounts of times in their professions, but technically speaking, that is for that expansion. Because every expansion you have to level up again. So, yeah, I have to say, I actually kind of disagree. That doesn't happen much, but I just disagree.
Yeah, but that's because, well, say it like that, you chose you have regrets about what you chose, and you think you find that it's you see it from a different point than us, because I've actually redone. I used to have mining, and I leveled jewel crafting, which is very expensive if you don't have a miner. Where back in the day, I mean, I think I did this Burning Crusade. No, later than Burning Crusade. I think it was Wrath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I made that decision to do that. I mean, that was my decision, of course, and your decision was to stick with tailoring.
Yeah.
And so with me, it's just like I worked hard to get my professions up there, and now that was mainly also for the sockets, for the gems. I mean, because there's not that much else you can do with jewel crafting. Yeah, you have the mounts now and such that you can make for money. But
exactly.
I fully understand like what Matt's saying. It's like we worked for it, and now it's being taken away from us because reasons.
Yeah. Well,
But for me, it wasn't. I know where you're coming from, because I've never ever swapped mine, and so we're disagreeing for a change. I disagree with what you're saying, where you say, a new expansion things change. Yes, new expansion things change. Fair enough. But when it comes down to 11 professions, you're only leveling them another, is it 75 levels?
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
True.
Yeah. You're not leveling them the whole way. What they are basically doing is saying, you may not have the professions you want to do on your main character. You may have the professions which we have pretty much shoehorned you into taking, which is what they've basically done with the way they've designed the game. They've shoehorned people into taking.
If you're a raider, you needed them.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was their choice. And a lot of the times, I think for DPS as well, it's actually probably worse than healers. I think there's a lot of different things.
The worst are sometimes, I know that like back when we were up in our 25-man raiding guild, Bridgeburners, that there were certain people that needed really went for certain professions and such, because they were, even though a slight DPS increase. So yeah.
Yeah, it was something that Blizzard say they. I speak to them like they're evil.
They are. Let's face it.
Blizzard designed the game a certain way, and it's their choice to change it. Now, say, as I've said before, personally, doesn't affect me. I'll keep my skin in leather work, and that's me. But I do think it's wrong to not offer some kind of comfort to all these people who have spent hours and hours and hours farming all that money the game spent as well. Because it is sort of a little bit like LJ, I can guarantee, probably never would have wanted to drop mining. He's a miner, blacksmith. They go together. You run around, hit some ore, go into town, smelt it, and you make your weapon. Yeah!
Yeah, well, let's go into that, because with the removal of these perks, they really should make professions more distinct, as in what other types of rewards they give. For example, crafting raid quality gear, new pets, new mounts, new toys, especially with the new toy interface coming out.
Yeah. I think they are going to have to offer something. Say toys, pets. That's something they could do. It's also going to be some kind of, because you've got to think about it. A lot of these things you'll be able to tell me. So they're going to be taking out the stuff like the inscription shoulder stuff.
Yes.
Like inscription. Are they taking inscription out?
No, just the shoulder enchant.
Completely pointless. It's going to be completely pointless about 2 years after the expansion.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, like a couple of weeks after the expansion hit, I mean, there's going to be that market's going to crash. Just like
everyone's going to,
because glyphs aren't that needed. I mean, with an alt, okay, but like gems, you keep on replacing, or not even that because they're removing those.
Yeah.
But enchantings, I don't know. It's going to be a whole different market basically out there, and it's just going to see how the auction survives.
That's why. The whole game is changing, especially for what professions will contribute to the game. With so many, I think they were reducing the amount of enchants or slots being able to be enchanted as well.
Yeah, they're doing something slots, like that, which I don't. It's almost like they're now wanting to oversimplify the game, and I don't know. We've said this before. We've had our discussions.
Yeah.
I just think it's a bit worrying that they're making all these nice little statements. They're taking this out, they're taking that out, and they're not replacing it. And like some of the changes, which we'll talk about later, make a lot of sense. They are pretty pointless. They're extra spells. You don't bother. That's that.
Yeah.
But to then start saying, "Oh, this happens, this happened, this happens," it's almost like they're not happy with the amount of choice we have now because they think it's too much. But is it really? It's not overcomplicated. You have 3 specs. They're still having 3 specs. They're still having 4 specs in some cases.
Yeah.
So it to me it was simpler when you had your 2, 3 specs. What you had, you did it all sorted. You never even had the spec slots. It was simpler back in the day.
Back in my day.
Back in my day. But they're almost trying to simplify the game. I don't know. It's down to elitism again.
This is something very interesting because I look at the forums and stuff like that, and there is some outrage, or a lot of outrage really, over those perks being removed. But the counter argument about it being choice and stuff like that is, it isn't really choice, because any raider, well, except for me in this case, because other than tailoring, I also had herbalism. Let's make it even worse. But every raider really did kind of need to get specific professions, such as whatchamacallit. Sorry, I'm totally blanking. Enchanting.
No, yeah, people
engineering. Engineering was a big deal this expansion as well. Stuff like that, so you kind of really needed them to be taken seriously. And by putting myself in a more leadership position, I kind of could get away with it. But although even in Bridge Burners, I wasn't in leadership position, and it was okay there as well because I still got the attack power. So each profession gives a combat thing. And they could either balance it out, which would mean everyone gets the net increase, or they just leave it out completely and everyone is still on the same level. So
it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fine. That way there's no pressure for raiders, and you just get to choose what type of armor you, for example, want to make.
Yeah, I think that's the bit I agree with. I think without being shoehorned completely into what the game mechanics force you to do, it now does increase and give you a bit of more choice in the matter. But as I said, there's going to be no choice unless they replace the stuff you're losing with other items that actually mean something.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of thoughts coming into it. They've announced that. They've not announced what's going to be replaced with. I think someone could probably find something here and there if you look deep enough into it.
I don't think the files are at that point yet.
So we don't know the files about that much. But so, I don't know. We know that bit. Let's look, panic, and wait for another day. These people are going, I agree with you, these people are going, oh my god, but it's our choice, man. Yes, it's your choice based around a really crappy system that shoehorns you into that choice.
Yeah. So the fix for the system with everything equal has the same results as far as being equal to others goes than just removing it. It's the same result.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Unless either of you has any final words on it, I suggest we move on to the next part.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
So, this is going to be fun, because most of it I'm happy about, some I'm not as much. The cutting of abilities has finally started, and now I doubt you guys play every class, except for maybe LJ with his 11 or 12, 90 characters.
11. 12 nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, maybe LJ plays every class, but what's your reaction to the pruning of your main class or classes and their abilities? How about I start with hunters, and then we can move on to...
Oh, it's always about the hunt.
Oh, yeah,
Isn't it
definitely.
always? I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean, everything's hunter gear. You know that. It's all for the hunters. When will you learn? So, my initial reaction was, overall it's good. But, as I said in the intro, the removal of distraction shot, I just don't get. Because it wasn't a mandatory thing you had to keybind, like Eyes of the Beast was either. Still annoyed with the removal of that, Blizzard. So people were tweeting Celestion about that, and he said that the range for Pet's Growl would be increased, but what I'm so frustrated about, and I tweeted at him about it, and he didn't reply back, was that, okay, great, but the mechanics for controlling your pet are very clunky, so you can't really kite well with your pet even if the Growl range has increased. Why not just let me keep a distracting shot which isn't bound to a special keybind needed anyway, so that when I do need to taunt something to kite it, for example, I can just click distraction shot that's on the right side of one of the extra bars, and then kite it myself, and I have full control of how it goes. That's one of the things that really frustrates me over the removal of it, because it goes against what they said they would remove. So yeah, there's that. Then there's also the second part that annoys me, and that's the aspects are basically mostly being removed. Aspect of the Hawk is gone. It's just going to be baked into the spells, which is fine. Totally agree with that. But aspect of the pack and cheetah, they're being removed from the totem aspect bar, the small thingy on the top left, and you have to put them now on your regular action bars. Why? That goes completely against what the whole intention is of the removal of abilities, to open up your action bars. Why would you remove something from what isn't in the way to somewhere where you're trying to get abilities away from? Really, Blizzard? Really? I would really like an answer on that, because that just goes against everything this is supposed to do. I think I've covered everything. Rant over. Matt, what do you think about the Druid ones?
I'm having a quick look at them again now and say I'm a Resto Druid. I've always been a Resto Druid. I'm never will be anything else. I've never done anything else. Fair enough. So I'm looking at some of the skills. You've got Innovate's been removed. Depending on what viewpoint, what stats they are looking at, on how they are, as they've stated, redoing the skills, it should be okay. But Innovate's been there, I think, since vanilla. Innovate was one of the original spells, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's not a spell that I would say clutters my bar because it's been there forever. Nourish, yes, it is a pointless spell. There's no point in it as well. If you want, you've got a lot of it use regrowth now anyway, and you've got healing touch if you wanted. So, yeah, Nourish is a pointless spell. And I don't know, it looks all right. But then you say they're removing Symbiosis as well, which basically means they've given us a spell for an expansion, got rid of it, and thought, yeah, it's not very good, is it? Which I actually quite like, but I don't know. I look at my bars and I could probably find some other skills that are probably better to remove.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't really say much on the Druid ones at the moment, purely based on not knowing what they are doing. But this is sort of going on to a little bit of what LJ was saying, that what we will say in total is, if you look at every class so far, they've removed all their healing, not their mana regen. Apart from looking at it, and I don't know if I'm wrong, you can tell me, but I think Manatee is the monk one. I don't think that's being removed at the moment, but this is alpha, we all know. And they haven't removed Manatee from the shamans yet. And to announce the thing they have announced and say these are the skills we are initially removing, but not to then say anything about like Manatide, it almost means that at a very early stage they've shoehorned them into a position where people are already going to be talking about raid setups, thinking, well, shamans are sorted. So
Yeah.
I can't really make any more decisions until more information comes out. At the moment, depending on what they do next, depending on how we get benefited, because I use Innovate. Every druid will use Innovate on a 10-minute fight probably 3 times. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's the same for the Paladin. I mean, I've been looking at it for a while now. And some of the things they've removed are... yeah, it's just weird with some of the things, like they made it like Avenging Wrath, the wings, which are pretty iconic for Paladin, are now Retribution only. Okay, they're still in the game, but only Retribution. Devotion R is only for Protection Paladins. I mean, there's a lot of things, but also like with a Holy, I mean, they've revamped that for create a deal. Well, now they actually think they put it back to more or less Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King mode, because they are removing basically Holy Light, or Divine Light has become Holy Light, and they're removing also Divine Please, so mana, the mana regeneration stuff ability. Also for Retribution Inquisition, the damage increase has been removed, which is, I think they'll like sort that out, make it implemented into the damage itself, and so that you actually have less things to care about, so that makes it easier. But on the whole, it's they haven't done that much to Paladin that I would say at the moment that it's life-threatening to put it like that. But there are some things that I would say, like, it's just we have so much information and yet so little information at the same time. It's just difficult to say how it's going to play out at the moment. It's like the first real information that we've gotten in months now about the game, with the data mine and such, which gives us a very narrow and small view about what's coming.
Yeah, like
Well,
sorry, I was just saying, talking from a healer point of view, and I think LJ says the more interesting thing really wasn't the skills they've taken out. It was, say, a bit further down. It was all about what they're aiming for, like the whole what they're aiming for healing to work out as well. Like they're adding cooldowns to some pretty important spells. LJ's life is going to be pure cooldown. He couldn't move anyway. He's never going to be able to move now.
No, I can't. I mean, they're removing some of the instance from me. I mean, I'm gonna be static as hell. I mean, it was bad before, but now it's just you can just make me a statue, and I'll probably heal from one position.
Just the same. I think the wild growth, which is one of the very important druid spell, is now got 1.5 second cast time, which I just don't see the point. I don't know. It's they're trying to, from what we've said, to make healing less punchy. So we shall see.
Yeah, that's what they're doing with the whole healing tanky thing. Basically, that they make it more gradual and not the spiky stuff we have now, which I actually do like. I mean. So that they make it more gradual like it used to be. I mean, now it's just like, okay, everything's going fine, and the tank's almost dead. Heal, and so going fine again. And what's the raid? Oh my god, everybody's dying. Okay, they're up again, and stuff like that. It's like, it's bad for our healers' hearts, basically, to have that constantly. It's a different playstyle, I get that, and I am really enthusiastic about what they're going to do next, what they're planning on doing, because it sounds good to me. Even though I'm a paladin healer, so I'm a reactive healer, not a proactive healer like you, Matt.
Yep.
So I mean, the situation as it is now is the most exciting, the most has the most variation for a paladin. But still, it's a nice change of pace, of course, to actually stop trying to heal a tank that's almost dead because he takes one hit and he's on 5 to 10% health. So I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, to answer some of your stuff, because the devs have been very active on Twitter, I usually can keep up with what they say, but there's just too much tweeting going on. As far as the mana regen stuff goes, they are going to bake that into the mana regen just base, so that's
and also lower the I've also seen that they also lower the spell cost of some spells and such, like, so it's all going to be implemented in the caster itself.
Yeah, exactly. And there was something about the paladins not getting much change, especially red paladins. That's because Blizzard thought they were already in a decent place. And, for example, Inquisition is getting removed for the complexity. And then the damage of that does get baked into the spells themselves as well. Yeah,
but I mean, they also already changed it once, because it used to be like... with the changes, like, you used to only be able to have 3 holy power, now you can have 5, so that's made it a lot easier as well. But also, Inquisition used to last, I think it was maximum of 33 seconds or something like that, and now it's already a minute, so they were already changing that so to make it easier.
Wasn't that a glyph to make it a minute?
Yeah, but that was like a mandatory glyph. To make it a minute now the minute is normal, but it used to be a glyph back in the day that you would double the length, so it was either 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and that was a mandatory glyph. Otherwise, it would be undoable. You'd have to refresh Inquisition at 3 holy power every 15 seconds. That's just too much of a hassle.
Okay. Yeah, that's what they've done. They've that's one thing I quite like what they've done as well with efflorescence. They've changed that as well. There might be some druids crying in their sleep because they like it the way they did it, but that is one thing. Well, there's probably one thing, and I don't know what you'll think of this, but going back to druids, they're saying they're taking out. They don't want the punchiness of the healing, yet they have now decided to put efflorescence on the shrooms, which is possibly, when fully charged, the most punchiest healing game.
I imagine that they'll change that.
Probably.
I presume they are going to have to change that because shrooms aren't going anywhere, because they've already announced that's where efflorescence is going. And I don't know, because we've all got to agree, fully you can pop your shrooms up to full. And at the moment you can get, well, we raid 10-man, but I presume it's same. I don't know, I can't remember if there's a limit on the amount of people it heals, but it can heal a 10-man raid up to full in minimum time. In literally the second you pop it.
Yeah, very useful for Malkorok start. That's quite nice.
So yeah, but anyway, there's going to be a lot of things to say.
There's a lot of balancing to do, basically.
Yeah, It is only alpha, so we shall see.
And it's the first version of the patch notes.
Yeah. Then we shall moan. Then we shall be devastated.
Yeah, exactly. So, any last thoughts on the ability pruning, LJ?
Well, one thing I saw that they are implementing a glyph that consecration now moves with the paladin. That's going to be awesome. That is going to be fucking awesome. Well, but yeah, for the rest, I mean, let's wait and see. Let's. I mean, the data mining is still going ahead at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
so I mean,
I believe
there's still, and like you said, the alpha has not even been released to friends and family. So
yeah.
we're not even like. We're not even at a stage at the moment. We're pre-stage of everything.
Exactly.
So.
Information is being released, but it hasn't even really started yet.
No.
So,
yeah, I'm looking at one here.
So like I said, we've had a ton of information, but at the same time, we have had almost nothing.
Yeah. Well, last thing about Twitter before we sign off. There are lots of blogs in the works. There's another version of patch notes coming out that's about 1/3 longer than this one, and this one was apparently 33 pages, so about 44 pages of patch notes.
Get reading.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. So there's still a lot to be explained and to be done. And on the subject of glyphs, finally, a glyph for feign death. Your pet will also feign death. Finally, awesome. That'll be good for wiping on bosses.
No, that'll be horrible because I think feign death should be taken out. To be fair,
hell no.
I think you should die like the rest of us.
Those them be war words, man.
What's wrong with you, Matt? How dare you?
Sorry, it's the way it's got to be.
Devil's advocate, huh?
Yeah, devil's advocate. And my last statement is going to be: I'm happy with the new rogue changes. You know, stabby, shanky.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to end the podcast here, and we'll be back with the part 2. So, if you liked part 1 of our podcast, please comment, subscribe, click the like button. You can find us on facebook.com/wowweekly, at twitter.com/bbmezzi, and of course at our website wowweekly.net, where articles get posted when new information comes out. New editorials should be on the way within the next week or so as well, so just check those out as well. Yeah, LJ and Matt, thanks for coming, but we'll be right back. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in a bit.
See you in P2.
See ya.